People are locking in their March Madness brackets. Who do you got for your Final Four? Any Cinderella runs? And the MLB has been very busy this offseason, some huge contracts in the works. What does the rest of the baseball season look like for Texas Tech? Find out next. MCTV Sports 101 starts now. Hey there, sports fans, and welcome into MCTV Sports 101. I'm Paige Sachse.
And I'm Ryan Heller. March Madness is finally here. So, Paige, what does your bracket look like this year? Who are your possible Final Four teams?
Actually, I'm super excited about March Madness in my bracket. My Final Four right now, I have Duke and Texas Tech.
Of course.
And then I have Virginia and North Carolina.
Virginia, really?
Yes.
Even though they did what they did last year?
Yes. Don't count them out this year, though. I feel like the South region doesn't really have that much of competition. I know it's kind of harsh, but I think there's a lot of upset options on that side of the bracket. Really? I also think that Virginia can have a lot of scoring options this year, this go-around, so I honestly think that they're going to do a good job.
Well, I'm not offended about the South region. Texas Tech isn't in it, so I'm fine with that. But I pretty much got agreement with you on Duke, North Carolina, and of course Texas Tech. We got to support our boys.
Yep.
But every single year, there's always, pretty much every year, there's always that seed above 5 that makes it to the Final Four. I think this year it's going to be 6 seed Villanova.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like I know they lost Jalen Brunson last year. They lost Dante DiVincenzo, both to the NBA draft. I get that, but they still got a lot of that core team from last year. Got some nice freshmen, and of course Jay Wright is still their coach. I can't count out Jay Wright. I just have to believe in him. I mean, like he's got the experience, and I just, and they didn't get off to the best start this year, but they still were first in the Big East. They still won the Big East, and I mean, like I still think they're that team. I think they can still pose a threat somewhere out there.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I don't know. I just think Virginia. So.
Well, I definitely agree with you on the Duke, North Carolina. I think that they're just two powerful teams, and. Like Mike Krzyzewski and the boys in North Carolina, you got a lot of those experienced players. I think they're going to do good. Yeah.
Obviously, every year there are teams that surprise you during the tournament. Who do you think will shock the world this year?
I would say Houston, but they're a 3 seed, so I don't call a 3 seed a Cinderella. I'm going to go with 13 seed St. Louis. Okay. I think that like they've got a good core group of guys, and honestly, they're getting hot at the right time. Yes, they were 5th seed in the Atlantic 10, but they won their conference. And I don't know. I mean, like obviously, I don't think they're going to go like really, really far. I mean, like I think they'll get crushed by Duke in the Sweet 16. But I think they can make it to the Sweet 16. I think they're an underrated group, and I don't know. I think they're being overlooked. I think they'll do some good in this first couple rounds.
As far as Cinderellas, I mean, I have Belmont over Maryland. Really? I think Maryland is talented, but I think that they have kind of proven that they've been kind of inconsistent this year.
That's true.
Also, Belmont has a great offense. I don't know. They've been leading the nation in assists. So I guess we'll see. And I don't know. They had to win a game in the first 4, obviously, to get to this game. But I feel like they shouldn't be undermined at all. So
I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, like a lot of teams in the first 4, they use that momentum as advantage.
Yeah, exactly. And it's happened before. So
it has. Yeah. It has. I mean, like I haven't really considered Belmont, but I think I might look at them. I think that's a good choice. I mean, like I don't think they'll go far afterwards, but I think that they could definitely make some noise.
Yeah,
sure.
I definitely also have St. Mary's over Villanova. I know you don't agree with that at all, but
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. St. Mary's, I don't know. They kept Gonzaga to under 50 points. Not a lot of teams have done that, so
that's true.
It'll be interesting. I feel like a lot of Cinderellas will happen this year.
Yeah.
As usual, but
I mean, like I'm already hearing word about a couple. I mean, like I hear Bradley's playing Michigan State tooth and nail, so who knows? Mike Trout just received the record-breaking contract with the Angels. Manny Machado at 300, and Bryce Harper 330. So, Paige, what do you think of these recent signings? I mean, all these high contract signings.
Honestly, it's kind of a cool thing to see. Kind of makes the MLB exciting. But the biggest one, obviously, Mike Trout, $430 million. I feel like, honestly, that was not expected at all.
No.
I don't think anybody expected that. But if anyone were to get it, it would have been him. I think you go around the MLB, you talk to players and coaches, and you realize they would agree that he's the best in the league. No questions asked, So if anybody, it would be him. I think I don't know, the Angels are kind of known for giving big contracts to people and not really, it doesn't end up very well, like Josh Hamilton and Albert Pujols. So I don't know, I guess we'll see. But he's also 26 years old. I think his prime is coming. I think as far as the Angels, I think the only thing that they have to worry about is pitching if they want to compete in October.
Yeah.
And as far as their salary and $430 million for 13 years, that's kind of hard to work with. So. And
Shohei Ohtani's got to come back from the Tommy John surgery because he can't only hit.
Yes.
Apparently, he's also got to pitch too.
Yeah.
But you know, I think that's me personally. I didn't expect that. I think that's too much money for one man in particular. But I mean, now me personally, I'm a little biased, Houston guy, so I would pick Jose Altuve as my guy, the Munchkin. He's the best player in the league. 5'6" and all. But I do agree. He is one of the best players in the league. I mean, you look at what he did last year: 137 hits, 100 RBIs, top 5 in pretty much every offensive category. I mean, he's a perennial MVP candidate. But I hope this works out well because you're paying this guy $430 million. You got to pay everyone else too.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure it will. I guess we'll see.
We will see for sure.
Texas Tech baseball has come back after a tough series with the Texas Longhorns. What do you think the team needs to do to step it up for the rest of the season?
Well, for me, I think it's two obvious things. One of the things is obviously, of course, the hitting. Ever since the series against, other than the series against Wichita State and the final game against Kentucky, they've just been stagnant on offense. They haven't been able to get hits, and even when they do get hits, they can't get the guy to home plate. And mostly they've been kind of like relying on the home run ball too much. They're not getting the guys running around the bases. And then, of course, is the pitching. Don't get me wrong. It's a huge honor to have all your pitchers be drafted. All the junior seniors drafted. Me personally, I think Gendry should have stayed here because he should have wanted to prove that he could play through an injury the next season. But it is what it is. But their pitching's been inexperienced. I see a lot of redshirt freshmen, sophomores out there pitching. And don't get me wrong, I love pitchers like the Beater and Mason Montgomery. He's showing he's got a bright future with us. But it's just like the inexperience, and that's starting to show as the season goes on. But mostly, they just got to get the bat to the ball.
I get that, and Texas is always a tough series to play against. But I honestly think that Erickson Lanning starting on the first game, he had a very efficient game. He played for 5 innings and had 3 hits and no runs, and he was doing a really good job. And I think that also we have Caleb Killian. He's a great pitcher. I think as far as going into Michigan, we just have to make sure that we can make plays as far as when we have runners in scoring position. I think that's one of our biggest issues, especially against UT. So
yeah, because that was one of our best qualities last year. Now this year we don't got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's time for Who You Got, March Madness edition. Let's start off with Syracuse versus Baylor. Paige, who you got?
I have Baylor. I honestly think that a lot of people are going to pick Syracuse. They have a Hall of Fame coach. They have a great roster, and as far as history, they're going to pick them. But I feel like the Big 12 has kind of been undermined as far as the March Madness bracket, and I think Baylor can come back and do a good job against Syracuse. So yeah, I
couldn't agree more about the Big 12. I think they are. But yeah, I'm also picking Baylor as well.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. Got a lot of respect for Syracuse's head coach, and they got a monstrous defense, especially with their zone. They got a very unique zone defense. But I just think
that would be really hard to play against too. The zone is kind of not a lot of people see it. So.
It is, but I think Baylor, Texas Tech, we know firsthand that they can light it up from 3. Once they get hot, once they get hot, they're not going to stop.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's the best way to attack the zone defense, and also a couple of mid-range shots in the middle as well. But you got Makai Mason, that Yale transfer, who's really talented, and then of course you got their big man Vital, averaging 3 blocks a game, averaging 7 rebounds a game, just over 7 rebounds a game. I think it's going to be tougher for Syracuse than people think.
Yeah, I agree. Nevada versus Florida. Ryan, who you got?
I got Nevada.
So do I.
I got Nevada.
Yes.
I just got a good feeling about the Martin twins. Brothers. If they are twins or brothers, but
they're twins.
They're twins? Okay. Plus what I like about them is their senior leadership, the veteran leadership. All 5 of their starters are seniors.
Yep.
They mostly use juniors and seniors as their bench players, and a lot of them are transfers as well, so they got that veteran leadership, and that's why they've been so good, mostly in the top 10 pretty much the whole season, and I got a good feeling about Nevada.
And they went to the Sweet 16 last year too, so and with players coming back, I feel like they can definitely make a run for it too. So
I think they can too. I think
Yeah.
once they win, that they're going to give Michigan or whoever wins a run for their money.
I agree.
do. Villanova versus St. Mary's. Paige, who you got?
I have St. Mary's. I know you disagree with that.
I do. I don't know.
I don't know. St. Mary's is, like I said before, St. Mary's has held Gonzaga under 50 points. I think obviously not a lot of teams have done that. So
No, I
don't
can't think of many who can.
Why do you think Villanova?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I just can't count any team that's coached by Jay Wright out of it. You know, Jay Wright, like he worked hard to get to where he is as the coach of Villanova,
yes.
and winning 2 championships in the span of 3 years. I know they're a 6th seed because they got off to a bit of a rough start, but I mean, like I just can't count Villanova out. I think that even if they, I just think St. Mary's is in for world trouble. I
guess we'll find out.
We will.
Wofford versus Seton Hall. Ryan, who do you got?
You know what? I'm going to go with the. I think I'm going to pick the little guys. I'm going to go Wofford.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I know they don't get a lot of respect because they're from the Southern Conference, and it's one of those low tier conference.
Yeah.
But you know what? They were ranked in the top 25 at the end of the regular season for a reason.
Yeah.
They are 10th in field goal percentage, 2nd in 3-point, and their assist to turnover ratio is 1-4, which means they're careful with the ball. They don't often beat themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Seton Hall's in the Big East and they're a powerful conference, but I don't know. I think people are turning a blind eye from Wofford, and I think they shouldn't be.
I definitely think Seton Hall. That's my pick. But they've had an impressive season with the Big East, so. They played very close with Villanova, and Villanova is obviously a great team. But I don't know, they're very impressive, and they've been in the tournament before, so I think that they can compete really well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's our show for this week's edition of MCTV Sports 101. Join us next week for the latest big game stories in sports. I'm Ryan Heller.
And I'm Paige Sachse. Till next time.